Surround is one of the 9 original Atari 2600 launch titles that came out in October of 1977. The object is very simple. Control a continuously moving block and try to keep it away from your opponent's block or the trail that it leaves behind. Once a player crashes into their opponent's wall, the other player is awarded with a point and the first to 10 wins. It's actually a rip-off of a previously released arcade game called Blockade, whose gameplay is pretty much identical. As the title would suggest, your ideal goal would be to surround your opponent with a blockade of your wall, essentially ending the game because once you're surrounded, you're fucked. It's designed mainly for multiplayer action, but you can play 1 or 2 players, though the computer's AI is wretched, so you'll definitely want to play with someone else. There are several variations which include speed up mode where the blocks gradually increase through 5 different levels of speed. Diagonal mode offers you the ability to move your blocks diagonally. Erase mode lets you hold the button to stop your trail from being left behind, and Wraparound mode, where you can pass from one side of the screen to the next. Plus there are variations that offer different combinations of all the previously mentioned modes. And as a bonus, there are 2 variations of Video Graffiti mode, where you can control the blocks freely to draw whatever you want on the screen. One mode lets you draw diagonally while the other doesn't. It's a pretty good art feature for a 1977 Atari 2600 game. I mean, it's not exactly Mario Paint or anything, but it's still a hell of a lot better than Color It Dinosaur, which came out 17 years later. Now, if you're watching this video and you never played this game before, then you're probably saying that the game looks boring. And graphically, there's not really all that much to look at. Just blocks and thick lines moving around. But when you play it, preferably with a human opponent, you'd be surprised how a pretty intense battle can actually be packed into such a primitive game with such a simple concept. Unfortunately, it's not all that intense, but it is more exciting than it looks. The real downside to Surround is that, while there are several variations, it's still a pretty bare-bones game. It's pretty much an adequate mini-game that'll entertain you momentarily, but after a few go-arounds, you'll want to be playing something else.